Hey everybody, Jazzy here, and welcome to my first grounded guide. Today, I want to walk you through the first few days in the backyard, which for me are usually dedicated to working on getting a hold of a Mint Mallet, which as of the early access is the only tier 3 item and the strongest weapon in the game. The quicker I can get a hold of one of these, the more easily I can harvest bugs and the less I'm gonna die. So the Mint Mallet needs 9 silk, 8 petals, and 5 mint pieces. The mint can be gathered from the Ice Cap's mint container shown here on the map, but requires an insect hammer to harvest from the mint chunks. So you need to craft one of those as well. Okay, so day 1, grab a bunch of the basic resources off the ground. Plant fiber, pebblets, sprigs, and sap. I like to set up a little base of operations on top of this baseball because it's an easy landmark to remember, it's close to a few early game resources, and it's safe from bugs that wander through the grass. First thing I'll analyze at the field station is sap, because it unlocks the workbench. Then analyzing the plant fiber unlocks woven fiber. Crafting a woven fiber will unlock the recipes for an axe and a hammer. As soon as you craft a hammer, you can head towards the oak tree. Up here, you're going to collect acorn shells, which you can use for your first bit of armor. If you get thirsty, just look for a water drop in a blade of grass and punch the grass. The drop will fall to the ground, and you can sip it straight off the dirt. If you need food, just pick a bunch of mushrooms. At the base of the tree, hammer a bunch of acorns. You only need 6 shells for a complete acorn armor set, but any extras you can use for storage chests. Also be sure to hammer any sap clumps you find. You're going to need a lot of sap for crafting fiber bandages. On the northeast side of the tree, you will get some rose bushes, and this is where you can get petals. You're going to need 8 to craft the Mint Mallet. Avoid the spiders if you can, because without any armor, they will tear you up. Try to visit one of the lasers pointed on the mysterious machine, because you can usually find mites at the bottom. Now, you're going to want a lot of mite fuzz for crafting aphid slippers, plus armor glue. And in general, you can't really have too much fuzz. You can take on the mites with your hammer or axe, you don't really need armor for this. Just keep strafing around them and they won't even be able to hit you. Back at the field station, analyze the acorn shells to unlock the acorn armor sets. If you've killed any aphids yet, be sure to analyze the raw meat to unlock the aphid slippers. These will boost your speed, which will be very useful for exploring and just getting around faster. Once you set up your workbench, you can craft your armor. Just need a few clovers, but be careful. They can kill you, apparently. Love early access. If you visit the southwest laser, you'll find these mites chewing on the cable. The ones on the cable are free kills. And if you follow the damage cable down into the cave, you will find a bunch of quartzite you can harvest with your hammer. Quartzite can be used to repair your weapons and tools. If you select repair for any weapon or tool, you can see the amount of quartzite needed to repair, and this number will be the same regardless of the item's current durability. So just wait until they get low or completely broken before you repair. At this point, you should have enough mite fuzz to craft your aphid slippers. Also, go ahead and craft your acorn face mask and your chest plate while you're at it. You can make the shin guards if you want the extra protection. For me, the extra speed from the slippers is much nicer to have, but it's totally your call. You could even swap them out before fighting if you wanted. Now, as you explore, you're going to want to build a lean-to in as many different spots as possible. They let you set a respawn point, which can be useful if you don't want to run across the entire yard to get your stuff back. You could also sleep to skip the nighttime. I don't know if there's any penalty for not sleeping, but for me, it's kind of hard getting stuff done at night when I can't see a damn thing. Be sure to craft up your fiber bandages too. They heal on a time delay, so they're good to use after a fight. During a battle, I generally prefer smoothies for instant healing, but I'm gonna need grub goop before I can make a smoothie maker. Also be sure to analyze the mite fuzz because it unlocks armor glue, which is a very important resource for repairing your early game armor. It is almost always cheaper to repair armor than to recraft it, and armor glue is pretty cheap. It only needs mite fuzz, sap, and woven fiber. I always carry around a few bits of glue in case any of my armor breaks while I'm out fighting. Okay, now it's time to upgrade your weapon. For me, the best weapon to get a hold of before your Mint Mallet is an ant club. It has high damage and stun, and we're actually going to be able to take on the bigger bugs and the spiders once we make one. To the northwest of the mysterious machine is an anthill. Craft up a torch and head on down. We need mandibles, so we're looking to lure a soldier ant out of the hill. Don't attack it inside the hill or all the other ants will turn on you. Just try to lure the soldier ant out of the hill and as far away from other ants as possible before fighting it. Soldier ants have 2 attacks. For their first attack, they rear up and they open their mandibles, then go back down on their front legs, open their mandibles again, and then lunge. Wait until their legs come down and they open their mandibles back up. Otherwise, you block too early. But the next few lunges will come just as they are rearing up. I like to fight with a hammer until they're stunned, then swing at them with an axe for a bunch of extra damage. You will need 2 mandibles and several parts for an ant club, so you will need to kill at least 2 ant soldiers. Craft up your ant club and revel in its splendor by turning the local mite population into little red fuzz puddles. Fuzzles? Anyways, let's go get the last items we need for an insect hammer. First up, we need a boiling gland from a Bombardier Beetle. There's always one at the rake in the southwestern part of the yard. I really hate fighting these asshats because one spray will take your health almost all the way down. So before you engage, always set up a lean-to nearby and set your respawn point. And generally, when I put a lean-to down, I try to accompany it with a trail marker so that I can locate it later. Lean-tos do not have any map icons, so it's good practice to mark your respawn locations, and the markers are really not that expensive. But as I was saying, the Bombardier Beetles are a pain in the ass. The first thing they do is run up to you and spray acid on your shoes. Your goal is to dodge this at all costs. With aphid slippers, you can sometimes sidestep it, and try to hug the beetle as you're doing it. The beetle will sometimes rotate with you as it goes through the spraying animation, which is kinda soul crushing, not gonna lie. Sometimes jumping will help mitigate the damage, but honestly, I haven't cultivated a foolproof strat for this beetle yet. Probably because its AI is getting constantly reworked in early access. Just try not to get sprayed. Aside from this attack, it doesn't hit super hard, so just block and swing as usual. You're looking for a boiling gland, which is not a guaranteed drop. So if you don't get one, you'll need to fight another beetle, and there's plenty of spawners across the map. We got lucky this time, so time to move to the next resource, silk. Orb weaver spiders are terrifying. Even after you get the hang of fighting them, there's something about that screech that haunts my dreams. Fortunately, they only have 1 melee attack, and once you get the timing down, Mr. Yellowsack will feel like a giant mewling baby that you still need to murder. But yeah, when they lean back, they bounce to attack. Try to block as they're lunging or right before. You can sneak in 1 hit between lunges, and if they get stunned, go for a triple swing. Seriously, once you figure out the timing, these become one of the tamest enemies in the yard. I'm much more afeared of bombardiers. We need 9 silk, which you can either harvest from the orb weavers or chop from their webs. I'd recommend against attempting the wolf spiders until you get full ladybug armor, unless you enjoy jumping in the air by the sheer force of death. Down at the southeast part of the map is the berry trees. Now, we need 4 berry leather for the insect hammer, and each leather needs 3 berry chunks. So all we really need is 12 chunks, which should be easy enough to find. Throw a pebblet to dislodge berries from the tree, and then chop them when they fall to harvest the chunks. Feel free to fight a ladybug if you see one. If you stay close to them, they only have 1 melee attack, which is pretty easy to choreograph. As when fighting the orb losers, try to wait until they charge you to hit block, then sneak in 1 swing before they attack again. You won't be able to craft ladybug armor until you collect more berry leather, but you might as well start to harvest their parts now. Over in the northeastern part of the map, we can find the final resource we need to collect, stink bug parts. Go ahead and aggro one. First thing it's going to do is shoot out a bunch of gas. Just get clear of the cloud and wait for the bug to come fight you. You can block and swing at it pretty much the same way as the orb dingles and the ladybugs. Just watch out for when it sticks its booty in the air, it's about to rip one again. Stand clear of the fumes and wait to exchange blows again. Shouldn't last long. You'll already have the insect hammer recipe from the boiling gland, so at this point you should have everything you need to craft it at your workbench. 4 stink bug parts, 4 berry leather, and a boiling gland. Time to get minted, baby. The ice caps container is slightly northwest of the mysterious machine. Fist the door to compel it into obedience, and then use the insect hammer to harvest the mint pieces from Big Chunkus inside. Getting the angle here is kind of tricky. If you hear a thump, you're hitting the container, not the chunkus. These are non-renewable, but you have enough to make 4 mint mallets, and you can always repair the mallets with quartzite. But with that, you have everything you need to craft your mint mallet. Congratulations! You have the strongest weapon in the game. At this point, you want to upgrade your armor. I would suggest killing more ladybugs and heading back to harvest more berries in the southeast yard. You'll also want to start working on an insect axe so you can chop down weeds, go do some burgle quests, and get started on building your base. But that wraps up the Mint Mallet guide. I hope you found some of this information useful, and see you next time.